welcome to Let's Be Love. This is your girl V, and today I have two special guests. I'm going to introduce Villette and Tanya. Ladies, thank you for
Hello.
joining us.
Hello,
Hello.
Now, when I say the word love, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
kindness,
Okay. And
It can be
Villette,
beautiful. Beautiful.
love is
trust.
beautiful. Trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to talk to the two of you today about sexuality beyond the age of 40 because we know that we keep living, we keep growing, we are ever evolving, but our libido and our sexuality never dies. So I think that's an interesting conversation to have. Um,
Yes.
First, tell me about your coming out journey. I'll start with you, with at what point did you start to explore your sexuality, and when did you come out to your family and friends?
I knew that I was a lesbian for a number of years, but never explored until I went to college. That's when I dated the first one person that I ever first female that I ever dated was in college. My sophomore year, not my freshman year, but my sophomore year. But I told my mom because I grew up with a single parent household. My mom, she was a school teacher, and she went on to say, like some of my other friends that I've been told throughout the years, oh, you need therapy, you just going through a phase or this and that. But I that's just who I was, and I tried to get her to understand and embrace it, but because I'm a pastor's daughter, and my I grew up in the church. The quote unquote, you're not supposed to be a lesbian, or you're not supposed to do whatever. Um, so I try to stick to the norms and do what they said was normal for me when I before I came out. But I did eventually come out in college, and the response was negative. I mean, now today my family says, they know and they accept me for who I am. Back in the day, people didn't talk about lesbian, gay, transgender, or none of that kind of stuff. That was shunned, and everybody knew about it, but nobody talked about it. It was like the elephant in the room.
Mhm. And what about you, Tanya?
Well, my first lover was a lot older than me, and my family kept harassing her because they thought she was influencing me when it was me chasing her. And
Mm.
I asked my family, I said, I can't, we can't continue to do this. I am 21, and I think I have a good grasp on who I am.
Mhm.
And I told them, please don't make me choose
Mm.
because you will be surprised. So me and my mate and her two kids, we took off at Austin, Texas, and we hadn't looked back. And it was such a beautiful world because we got there and we were like, oh, gay clubs. What? Okay. Dancing's in my blood. I love it. Okay. And I was like, what? A place we could go and dance and mingle with people who are like-minded.
Mhm.
Oh, we were thrilled.
You both mentioned your family's reactions. I know, Villette, for you, it was definitely challenging since you were a preacher's kid. And Tanya, I know back then people didn't really talk about it. So
Mm.
what about now? How have your families kind of evolved over the years? And what are their discussions about sexuality and homosexuality now?
Well, my mom is deceased, and they accept that. I now know that they accept that because we talk about it from time to time. So they are acceptive and of my relationships now. So I'm shocked because I always thought, even though they've been receptive, they would be negative as far as the conversation, but it's not even like that. So I'm just
Mhm.
grateful that they are receptive.
Mhm.
But our times have changed too.
True. And Tanya, what about your family now?
Well, I believe they're a lot more accepting than originally because, think about it for a Black parent. They're thinking about, okay, she's already female, she's already Black, and now you're going out into the world gay. So
Right.
they just feel like you're setting yourself up for failure.
Mhm.
But I've always had confidence that my parents gave me. Another critical factor is my parents, we were raised in church. And so that was the difficulty my mom had with it, the Bible. And that just whipped her.
Mhm.
And it's not what she wants for me.
Mhm.
But she realizes now that's not going to change. I'm
Mhm.
going to sleep peacefully at night because I'm me.
Right,
I can't live for you.
right,
I
right,
must live for me.
right.
And
Well, your families have evolved a little bit, but more importantly, the two of you have evolved. You've gone down your own journeys in life, exploring yourself and understanding your sexuality for yourselves. So, why do you think at this point in your life that you're still single? What have you
I know
learned
why I'm
along the
single.
way?
I know why I'm single
Mhm.
because I didn't stay active. And, the weight gain, that's not attractive. And no matter how much personality you have to get that initial attraction for most people. For me, I'm more into how you think, not all about what you look like. But yeah, I just know that I haven't done what I need to do to attract the type of woman I want to be with. So that's on me. And until I get that done, uh, I might not even have another relationship.
Oh wow.
That's a really mature answer because most people would not say the things that they need to work on.
Me, I've decided to slow it down. I'm dating. I have somebody specifically that I'm interested in, even though I'm dating other people. But no type of intimacy involved with anybody that I'm dating. The last relationship we waited 90 days, but I still didn't really know. Even though I had known her for 30 years, I didn't know her.
Mm-hmm.
I knew her for 30 years, but I didn't know her.
Mm-hmm.
And she had some of the qualities, but then at one point I lost trust in her because I'm a very private person. Everybody don't need to know what me and you doing.
Right.
After I couldn't trust her, we couldn't be in a relationship.
Right.
So this time around in dating, I decided that I was gonna slow down. The other person may not want to slow down, but for me, I gotta slow down to make sure that this person has the type of characteristics that I want in a woman. You can be pretty, you can have some characteristics that I want, but you could have the worst attitude, or you could have things that you want that I am not even interested in. We gotta have a vibe. And I think that's why in dating the person that I'm dating, one of the people that I'm dating, we have such a strong vibe. We can have a conversation. We've never been intimate. We've kissed, but on the lips, not nothing where it was, exchanging juices, none of
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And for me, I've never had that. I've never had that, and I think that this time around, I have been able to um, change some of the things about me
Mm-hmm.
as an individual and be more loving of myself and accepting myself for who I am. I got to make sure that that person, whoever I decide that I'm going to be in a relationship with, they're the right one, because I'm tired of going through relationships. I'm tired of having to introduce and go through all the beginnings. I want it to be right. I want it to be somebody that I want to be with, somebody that's going to be my companion, somebody that one day may be my wife. That's what I want to make sure. I don't want to get into another relationship and then it fails. Not saying that it's going to be perfect, but I'm just saying, just in general, I'm looking for that one.
Right. Yeah. I hear a lot of wisdom between the two of you. And so I wonder if you could just give certain messages to the younger LGBT population who, when we were younger, just out there clubbing and not really taking the time to, one, understand yourself, and then two, to get to know someone else. What's some of the advice that you can give to?
I think that it's important for number one for you to know you and to love you, because a lot of times we say that this person completes us. Nobody can complete you but you. You have to complete yourself before you even get into into a relationship. If you're not complete, can't nobody complete you. Can't nobody fix you. You have to be fixed. And in order to get what you want, you got to know what you want and understand you as an individual. You have to. Because if not, you're going to keep going through relationship after relationship. I don't care if you're in a relationship 2-3 years. You're going to keep doing this, having that same cycle.
Definitely. Yeah, and people don't want to take ownership of the things they need to work on within themselves. So then you end up having two broken people coming together trying to fix each other, and it doesn't work that way.
No. We all have baggage. We have all experienced or had somebody in our family that we've witnessed that's been through domestic violence, sexual abuse, drug abuse, mental health issues. We've all had those, and those that doesn't discount the person that we're in a relationship with. They had that too, whether they admit it or not. Everybody has some type of flaws, and everybody has some type of baggage, and not only the baggage from your childhood, but baggage just from life. And you have to resolve that baggage you have in order to get what you're seeking. You're not going to get what you're seeking if you don't resolve those things that are baggage, and it's a continuous daily thing that has to be done. I've done it. I've done self-evaluation and done some work, but I have to do it on a weekly basis in order for me to stay right.
And I like one thing you said about constantly evaluating yourself, because hopefully you're constantly growing. And so that means you have to do different evaluations of yourself in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, because you should not still be the same in your 40s as you were in your 20s.
Oh, no.
So
if you are, that's a problem.
Right.
If you are, that's a problem.
I think that for our young people, I hope they're concentrating more on compatibility than going to the club and then getting a U-Haul the next week. You got to get to know people. And maybe it's just so crucial for us because we don't have time to waste. Young people can take into consideration the climate we are living in now and getting to know the person you're interested in long before you do anything. I think that's a great way to start. As me, okay, I'm a bona fide kisser. I love.
She said a bona fide kisser.
That
sounds serious, Tanya.
Okay, and so that's the first thing I'm going to want to do with you. You know, that kissing leads to other things.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
but anyway, I just think it's important to know the background. Even now, you almost have to have an affidavit from the doctor's office. No, I don't have this, or this. But it's the safest route to go. So take the time to do it.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. I always encourage people to go and get tested with your partner. Don't just take anything for granted. Unfortunately, we can see STD results. We cannot see emotional test results or some psychological test results.
No.
So you have to put in the time to get to know a person.
Yeah, because you just hit the nail on the head. Are they mature enough to even be in a relationship? And for me, compatibility, it just steps up higher than it's on a higher plane than attractiveness or whatever, because we're going to be communicating with each other every day, and it should be smooth as silk.
I agree, but there are different in the class that I teach. There are different types of compatibility, and we talk about it. It's a domestic violence class. I've been teaching it since 2002. So it's what changed my perceptions of relationships. But still, for so many years, I still did the same thing until recently. I decided recently, like I'm talking like in the last 3-4 years, I decided that I wasn't going to go through the different changes with people that I was trying to have a relationship with. It's going to be somebody that I'm compatible with. I'm not.
What did some of those changes look like? What were some of the things that you began to change and to implement into your personal life from your class? What did you do differently?
Number one, understanding that you can't make somebody be in a relationship with you. Years ago, I used to think, oh, she breaking up with me, she cheating on me. Why she doing that to me? You know what I'm saying? But people are people. But if you are able to communicate your expectations of a relationship and what you want, and able to be loving to yourself, you can identify a person and who they are before you get too far in a relationship. This is how it usually happens. People meet up, they say they like each other. They may wait 90 days, they go straight to the bedroom, and then after 90 days, you be like, dang, who is this?
Right.
I don't know this person. This is a different person here. And it's not that they're a different person. They was always that person. You just never paid attention to who that person was because you went too far in the beginning. So because when you become sexually intimate with somebody, it changes the whole dynamics of the relationship. You no longer are looking to get to know or understand that person, because if the sex is good, that's out the window for sure.
Yeah,
because
you will
want to have that sex.
You will overlook some issues because
yes.
you focused on the sex.
I can deal with that, when in actuality we really can't. And that's why a lot of times people get in situations where there is abuse, because they don't take the time out to get to know who they're getting in a relationship with.
I have a 90-day rule, which basically says anybody can be sane for 90 days. But you best believe on that 91st day, all HE double toothpicks is going to break loose.
The spiritual connection is huge, because a lot of people will just focus on the sex. And like you mentioned earlier, they're suddenly in this U-Haul relationship, and you haven't even evaluated, if your spirits are compatible.
Right.
If you have the same goals.
Right.
It's important to know where your partner is spirit. What kind of spirit do they have? Yes. We both have giving spirits. We were giving each other so much. I was like, oh my goodness. Just back and forth, because we loved each other and wanted to. We just shared everything.
What do you think about dating nowadays? It seems that if a same-sex relationship lasts longer than a year, people feel like that's a major accomplishment. And that just shows how hard dating is in maintaining long-term relationships. But what are your thoughts on that?
It's important that you communicate that you're dating, and not necessarily rules, but the expectations of you dating, especially if you're dating more than one person. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just saying.
Tell the girl, tell the truth.
I mean, it's important that everybody know the expectations, because you don't want nobody to feel like y'all are in a relationship just because you go out and you may go to eat or you may go to the movies, that you're in a relationship. You don't want a person to feel that way if that's not what you want. You want to communicate exactly what your expectations are. And sometimes that's hard for people.
Is it so much harder dating after age 40?
Yes.
Yeah, because most people are already established at age 40.
I guess my age scares them, and they just don't even bother. And the sad part is they don't realize how much fun I am. I mean, just hanging out with me, we will holler, okay?
Wow.
But I don't ever get a chance to meet anybody, and I think my age has quite a bit to do with it. If it
And that leads me to my last thought, which is that your libido and your sexual energy does not just die when you hit a certain age. So if dating is a little bit harder beyond the age of 40, what does that look like for, I guess, intimacy? How do people perceive you as still being a sexual being beyond a certain age?
They have to test it out and see. That's all I can say. But I can't test it.
Ooh,
Hey, I can't test it with everybody though. Can't test it with everybody. I still got it.
no,
I still got it. I
But
still got it. I might be old. I might be old, but I still got it.
I
that's
like
right.
I'm
I
gonna
that.
mean,
leave it at that.
look, you never lose desire, technique, ability, um, any of those things resounding around sexual intimacy. You just need to find somebody who's on board with you,
Hmm.
you know, who wants to try, who wants to, you know, take that step. But yeah, the libido, all of that, it's still alive and well.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's another thing. You just feel like you just wasted away in that department because nobody will give you a chance.
Oh, nah. No, you can't
I
be
mean,
wasted around.
look, technique is technique, desire is desire.
That's right.
You
That's
you
Yeah.
right.
know, it could be like fine wine. Some things just get better with age.
Yes, and I wish
Experience.
people will understand that about us. We're no different. Yes, my hair is a little grayer, but I still love to have fun, a good time, and you know, just laugh and just be. I love people, so being with my mate, there is nothing better than that for me.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah. Like Valette said, I think you said it perfectly. Valette said, I still got it.
I still got it.
Right.
I still
Exactly. It's not all about sex to me. It's the
right.
complete package.
Right.
You can learn, you know, some new techniques or whatever, but uh the basics have to be there.
Mhm. And Valette touched on it definitely when she said you've got to have your expectations. You've got to discuss your expectations. What is it that we're looking for? What is it that we want to accomplish together? Are we compatible? All of those things definitely need to be discussed at any age. But I think definitely the fact that you still have the same desires even beyond the age of 40 is important to discuss.
Oh yeah, we don't just drop dead. I mean, shoot, there are, I'm sure, plenty of people who have an excellent sex drive in their 60s.
Well, I want to thank both of you for being open and honest enough to just have these discussions because everyone who is not married by a certain point is having to deal with this. They're still out in the dating world. They're having to have these discussions. And there are some extra challenges when you're beyond a certain age. So I thank the two of you just for being willing to talk about it.
No
And
problem.
you're right, there are challenges for the LGBTQ community,
Mhm.
just like any other community.
That's true.
Mhm.
We're no
Mm,
Definitely.
different. We're no
Right.
different.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
Mm.
We just have to go about it the smart and right way.
Mhm. Well, Tanya and Valette, I want to thank you both for your time today. I wish you nothing but blessings and love moving forward. And as I say to everyone on Let's Be Love, let's be the love that you want to see in this world.